Okay, could I have everybody's attention, please? We'll get started. First and foremost, I want to thank Bill Davis for bringing down our local cable and getting this on cable for us. I did not thank him last year, and I felt terrible, so that's the first thank you for today. Thank you, Bill. He'll also be providing discs of this, so if you want to get a copy of it, he gives it to the town clerk, and you can just go pick it up there. Okay, so next on my list for thank yous is this hall. Wasn't the breakfast great?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's consistent, so I hope to see you all again next year. And I want to thank my volunteers for helping set up, collect money, greet, and then we'll get started. All right, now, so we've got some people here that are running for re-election. Thank you for staying in and fighting the good fight. We have a lot of new people that are interested and want to get involved. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We need more of that. Once I started getting involved, I started making sure if I saw someone, I'd mention things to them and see if they would get involved. So you'd be surprised who out there, the talent that's out there, that all you have to do is ask. So thank you for being there, and we'll get started. All right, so first, for speeches, we'll do the school committee, and we'll start with Lisa. Lisa Augusta. And you can either sit or stand, whatever you're comfortable with.
I will stand. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to thank the Democratic Committee for hosting this candidate breakfast, and to Terry Mays for organizing, and for Emerald Hall for the delicious food. My name is Lisa Augusta. I'm running for one of the seats in the school committee. I'm happy to be here today to tell you a little bit about myself. I've lived in Abington for 17 years. I've been married to my husband, Bruce, for 18 years. I'm the proud mother of 4 children who all attend Abington Public Schools. My oldest is my son, Colby, who's in 10th grade. I have a daughter, Lindsay, who's in 8th grade. I have a daughter, Emily, who is in 6th grade. And I have a son, Brady, who's in 3rd grade. I'm a graduate of Braintree High School. I hold a Bachelor of Science degree in Occupational Therapy from Quinnipiac University. I have worked in a variety of different settings, like short-term rehab and pediatric early intervention. Most recently, I worked at the North River Collaborative Family Network. Since my children have entered the school system, I've been involved in PTOs in all the schools. I was the chairperson for many successful fundraisers and school events. I was on the committee to establish the 8th grade Philadelphia trip. And I was the chairperson for all the fundraising for this trip for 2 years. I was excited to be a part of the trip the first time we ran it, and I'm excited to chaperone it again in June of this year. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to volunteer in many of the classrooms in our schools, as well as participate in school-related activities like field trips, field days, teacher appreciation events, many things. These opportunities have allowed me to see a small portion of what happens in our schools, and be able to firsthand talk to parents and students and staff about what they like about the schools and what they feel maybe our concerns are. My husband and I are always present and involved in many town activities and events. We volunteer countless hours in town organizations. I've coached Abington Youth Cheer for the last 4 years. And my husband, Bruce, is currently the director of Abington Youth Basketball and Abington Travel Basketball. And he's also coached many sports over the last 12 years, basketball, football, baseball. We're always willing to participate and help whenever we can. I feel it's so important to be involved in all aspects of our children's lives, especially their education. I strongly believe that they deserve a strong education, and I want to ensure that all children of Abington are provided with every opportunity and the resources that they deserve. As an occupational therapist, I know that a child's occupation is being a student and going to school, and it's our role to make sure that our students have the best curriculum and resources available so our children can do their job and they can do it the best that they can. As we all know, our children are faced with constant challenges, and with dedicated leadership, I believe that we continue to achieve greatness. I feel that it's so important to educate our children, our parents, and our students about some of the issues that constantly surround them, such as social media, bullying, and substance abuse. We need to continue to emphasize the risks and the dangers of these issues and help them to understand the consequences. We're so fortunate to have a new middle high school, and I'm committed to promoting a positive environment where children feel safe and excited to go to every day. I recently attended the school safety meetings with Superintendent Schaefer and Chief Majensky, and it was great to see how many parents and members of our community came out to learn what is being done in our schools to keep us safe. I fully support the ALICE training that is scheduled before the end of the school year. Safety is a top priority in educating our students and staff with the best training available that it's essential. I'm committed to being part of the school committee and being a critical part of our children's education. Not only are we continuously preparing our children academically for the next grade level or the next school that they're going to attend, but also we're preparing them socially and emotionally as individuals. The better educated and prepared that they are, the more successful they're going to become. As a parent of 4 children in Abington, I want to be more involved and help make a difference. I believe that there's always room for improvement, and I'm willing to give 100% to ensure that the strong community and schools of Abington stay strong. I'm open-minded, I'm dedicated, and my priority is to advocate for the children and the parents and the teachers of our schools. I appreciate all your support that I've received so far and from everyone here, and I ask for your vote on April 28th. Good luck to all the candidates.
Thank you, Lisa. Next, Jacky Abrams.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to second Lisa's sentiments and thank everybody who helped put this breakfast together today. Thank you. My name is Jacky Abrams, and I've been an educator for the past 14 years. I have worked in 2 very different school districts, both in terms of size and socioeconomic status. My experience started out as a 3rd grade classroom teacher, and later I moved into being a reading interventionist and then a literacy coach. And I think that my latest role as a literacy coach has really taught me to be reflective, polite, and honest in having conversations with staff members, both veteran and new staff members. I think that I have an honest approach to communication and problem solving, and I feel that my experience combined with my particular perspective makes me an ideal candidate for a position on the Abington School Committee. I was born in Brockton and attended public schools throughout my adolescence. After graduating from Brockton High School, I went on to Boston University and received a degree in elementary education. I began my career in Brockton and worked there for 12 years before leaving in 2016 to take a job in Hanover Public Schools. My husband and I moved to Abington 8 years ago and soon realized that we wanted it to be our home. I'm mom to both Isabella, who's a 4th grader, but away at a softball tournament today, and our son Noah is here today with us. He's in 1st grade. I'm running in for school committee in Abington because I feel as though I can add a reasonable and responsible approach to managing all that goes into our school system. My key goals are to reinforce accountability, transparency, and communication, all of which are crucial to our ultimate goal, which is making the Abington schools the best that they can be. I feel it's important that we hold the line on accountability because it's the center of continuous improvement. Inviting administrators, teachers, parents, students, and all stakeholders to be part of the solution helps to keep us accountable to one another. This is where true progress is made. I will work to create accountability through being thoughtful in my questions and seeking clarification if needed on decisions that are made. I created a Facebook group 3 years ago when I was interested in running for school committee at that time called Abington Parent Partners. I realized 3 years ago that I needed to do some due diligence and build up some experience I had in attending school committees, which I've done over the past 3 years. The Facebook page was created to increase communication and involvement with some young families and sort of keep everybody connected on the issues that are going on in our school system today. It's important to be transparent in everything that we do. As a homeowner and a taxpayer, I'm running to make sure that our tax dollars and personnel resources are being used responsibly and in an efficient way. Transparency also builds trust, and trust is a vital ingredient to a healthy school culture. Finally, I'm running because I feel communication is one of the most important jobs that we have as leaders of this community. It's the glue that sort of keeps us all together. Striving to be more proactive in our communication with students and their families and increasing ways for students and families to become engaged with the school system will only make our town better. As a mom of 2 young children in this district, I am invested here for a long time. I have a lot of pride in the town that my family calls home. I value my friends and my neighbors, and I care about their children. I'm passionate about the work ahead, and combined with my experience as an educator, I think that makes me a great candidate for the Abington School Committee. So I humbly ask for your vote on April 28th, and I wish all the candidates good luck.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Next, Kathleen Bailey.
I as well would like to say thank you to the Democratic Town Committee for inviting me here tonight and for putting this event together. I'm Kathy Bailey, and I'm asking for your support as I campaign for a 3rd term on the school committee so that I continue my efforts to bring a quality education to the students in the Abington Public Schools. I've always believed that a town's investment in meeting the needs of its children through a great public school system is a key component to the future of our community. Because of that belief, I've worked continuously for the last 6 years to bring improvements to the Abington Public Schools for the benefit of our students, but I believe that there's more to be done. On the school committee, I've taken an active role in numerous school committee efforts as a member of the school building committee and the school building committee's working subgroup. I've attended and continue to attend weekly, bi-weekly, and now monthly meetings, reviewing plans, making recommendations to the design group, and on the construction of the new middle high school with the pre-K wing. This is still an ongoing effort. Although we've moved into our building, there is still work being done in the areas around the building as well as some work being done inside. I have taken on several other important responsibilities. I'm serving as a school committee representative to the North River Board of Directors for 5 years. I am now a member of the collective bargaining team, which is also an important ongoing effort. Our contract with the teachers expires this year. I am serving as a member of the policy subcommittee, and I've represented Abington at the joint Massachusetts Association of School Committees and Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents annual conference for the past 6 years. During that time, I've acted as Abington's representative to the MASC Delegate Assembly and represented the Abington School Committee at the Day on the Hill, sponsored by MASC, to garner both legislative support for financial and educational initiatives. And I'm currently serving my 2nd year as the chairman of the school committee. My professional background includes the acquisition of 3 degrees in education. I have a Bachelor of Arts in English with minors in Education and Social Studies, a Master's of Education as a consulting teacher of reading, and a Certificate of Advanced Graduate Studies in Educational Leadership. And now for those who are not in education, a Certificate of Advanced Graduate Studies is about halfway to a doctorate. I've taught at Abington High School, the Frollo Middle School, Memorial Middle School in Middleborough, and Silver Lake Regional Middle School in Kingston. I was also the chairman and grant writer for the Cranberry Alliance of Middle Schools and did professional development work for them. I was the executive director of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Middle Level Educators, among other things. So I have a perspective of what's going on in Massachusetts, in New England, at other schools around the area. Over the years, I've been an active participant in community affairs. I've been a member of the Concerned Abington Residents for Education, which was the precursor to today's PTO, and went on to become their chairman. I developed and coordinated the Abington Volunteers in Public Schools. I've served as a member of the Abington Music Parents, creating hundreds of flags and many uniforms for the color guard and the show choir. I was a member, actually a founding member, of the Frollio School Council, and I'm now the school committee's liaison to the Middle School Council. I work with my husband on the St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee, and I was on the Tricentennial Committee. I was on the Abington Cultural Council, and I'm currently on the Child Study Group. In making a decision to seek re-election for a third term on the school committee, I reflected on what I had accomplished with my colleagues and what I believe remained to be done. My conclusion was developed from three major concerns. First, I'm currently representing the committee on the collective bargaining process for a new teacher contract. The current contract expires this year, and I believe strongly that leaving that team and asking a new member to assume that task would be detrimental to the process and extend the time frame to reach a new contract. Secondly, I've invested many years, and enjoy them, on behalf of the town, the school committee, and students to realize the dream of constructing the new middle high school. And I'd feel uncomfortable leaving that process before it's completed. Now that we have the space and technology to develop and improve our programs and curricula, I would like to be able to use my experience in curriculum development and curriculum integration to support the administration within this new process. As a mother of three, grandmother of three, and a retired educator, I've made what is best for kids the focus of my decision-making process, as long as I can remember, and would like to continue that child-focused approach to decision-making for a third term on the school committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Next is Planning Board, Bruce Hughes.
Thank you very much. Have a seat with us. Good morning, everyone, and thank you to the Democratic Town Committee. I've never gone to one of these things before. I'm basically a planner, a technocrat. We tend to sit in the background, but I think it's important that people see you if you're asking them to vote. So again, Bruce Hughes, 69 Randolph Street. I'm running for re-election to the Planning Board. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why you should vote for me. I'm going to talk about my experience, my education, my experience. Wayne Smith says I'm not a townie because I moved to this town when I was like a month old, but I guess I'm sort of a townie. I guess in order to be a townie, you have to be born and raised. Graduate of Abington High School, UMass Boston, bachelor's degree in political science. When I was at UMass Boston, I did an internship at Old Colony Planning Council, and we'll talk about that a little later. I went on to earn a master's degree in public administration from Bridgewater State. One of my electives there was growth management class. I've worked in planning as a professional planner, oh God, almost 35 years. I worked for consulting firms, Edwards and Kelsey, and Manasseh and Russell in Boston, and came to work at the Planning Council, Old Colony Planning Council, which is a regional planning agency, which includes Abington, in 1990. I've taken many courses in planning over the years. I think you have to be a lifetime learner in any profession that you have. And so I've always taken classes. I'm not afraid to do it. I mean, I got my master's degree when I was like 50-something, so. But I think it's important to give back to the community that you live in. And I've lived in this town all my life, and I love this town. And I've watched it change. As a planner, I guess I've always wanted to be a planner. And I've watched this town change and grow over the years. So I think it's important that if you have professional skills, if you can serve on a board, that you go ahead and do that. So that's what I've tried to do. Again, I love this town. Right down the street from our house, 121 Randolph Street, they're building a big subdivision, a big apartment complex. So I've seen the changes. I think as a member of the Abington Planning Board, with the professional skills that I have, I add some abilities to it, and I try to serve the people of the town by giving them the skills that I have. So again, I've enjoyed serving on the Town of Abington Planning Board for a long time, and I'd like to continue to serve on the Planning Board. And I've tried to earn your trust by trying to act in the best interests of the town. So again, thank you very much for having me here this morning. and I really appreciate your vote and to be able to continue to serve the residents of the town of Abington. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bruce. All right, next is trustee of the library. We'll start with Henry. Henry DeCarlo.
Thank you, Terry. So I'm Henry DeCarlo. I think most of you know me, and I am chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Public Library, the Abington Public Library. And the Board of Trustees of the library, if you're not aware of it, has 9 elected members. 3 of us come up each year. There are no, we're not opposed this year. Nobody's opposing us. I've served on this board now for 30 years. My children were small when we started. We just celebrated the 20th anniversary in the new library, which is our major work. And those trustees that I've served with over the years, we've had a great collegial group that has really been actively interested in the public library, your major information source in the town, both physically and virtually now, with all the online stuff that we offer, and the fact that you can go in there and use your computer and use the internet. So we think the public library serves more people in town voluntarily of all age groups and all different categories of life than any other board. So I appreciate you electing me, and I'm guessing I'm going to be elected this year if I'm not opposed. And we thank you for having us for this opportunity.
Thank you, Henry. And next, Mary Gillis.
So I had about 3 sentences, and I think Henry covered all 3 of them. This is the second time that I've been invited to something that had to do with the library. The first time was about 3 years ago, and Deb Grimmett called and asked if I would like to attend the legislative breakfast, and I said sure, because I heard the word breakfast. And I didn't know that I had to speak. So Terry had sent me a lovely invitation for this on behalf of the Democratic Town Committee this year. And I saw the word breakfast. You would think that I would have learned my lesson, but I didn't. I really didn't know that I was going to have to speak until I called her. So as I said, Henry kind of covered everything that I had written down, which was very, very little. I've been pleased to be on that board for the last 3 years and seen the dedication and hard work on the part of the library trustees, some of whom have served for decades, and also the library staff. And it's an extremely valuable treasure for the town of Abington, and I hope to be able to continue working with that board for the next 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Next one is the Board of Health 3-year term. Linda Dickey.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Linda Dickey, and I am running for my 3rd term on the Board of Health. I've lived in Abington since '97 on Spruce Street, where my husband and I raised 2 sons who attended the Abington schools, both graduating, one from Abington High and one from South Shore Votech. I've always been a very active volunteer in the schools that my sons attended. I taught CCD at St. Bridget's for 10 years, was a hospice volunteer for a few years. I'm currently one of the town registrars, and I am the current chairwoman on the Board of Health. I personally get a lot of satisfaction out of helping others. Being on the Board of Health for the last 6 years has definitely been a learning experience. And I have had the privilege to work with a lot of great people on the board and in town. I've been on the board, while I've been on the board, I've been a part of writing our automated trash regulations, updating our tobacco regulations, writing dumpster regulations, and recently banning the use of styrofoam in our town. All of which, in one way or another, have been better for the health of our town. That's my main goal moving forward, is to be a part of keeping our town as healthy a place as we can, and I would be honored for your vote on April 28th. Thanks.
Thank you, Linda. Next is the Board of Health, the 1-year unexpired, Alex Haggerty.
Hello everyone, my name is Alex Haggerty and I am running for the 1-year seat on the Abington Board of Health. Before I do get started, I do want to thank everyone for being here today, and thank you to also the Abington Democratic Town Committee and Emerald Hall for hosting this event. It's so great that we get to have this opportunity to meet so many great candidates running in our town. To tell you a little bit about myself, I grew up in Abington. I was born and raised in Abington. I am a townie. I attended Abington Public Schools. I graduated in 2013 at Abington High School, the old Abington High School. I am currently studying history and political science down at Massasoit Community College at the Brockton campus. That is my educational background. As for my work experience lies in the food industry. I worked at Burger King Corporation and also Burger King franchise with Northeast Foods. And then I also worked currently at Target in promotion, and then at the Disney store, and then also guest experience at all three. While I was working at Burger King and Northeast Food franchise, I started off as guest ambassador, which was just a little bit above cashier and fry cook and maintenance and all that. I was right under the shift manager, which basically the job entailed that I managed the cleanliness of the store, making sure food was kept properly and served properly, and also just making and interacting with the public, which also even had to mean talking to the Board of Health when they came by to visit with us. Very shortly after I was guest ambassador, I was then promoted to shift manager, and then ultimately assistant manager. And my last 4 months at Burger King, I was acting general manager over at the Rockland branch on Hingham Street, right on the Norwell-Rockland line. And with that job, I had to be ServSafe certified. I had to work with the Board of Health. I had to talk with them, work with them, make sure we were following protocol, make sure we were following every procedure, because we have to make sure that the guests are happy and safe and healthy. And then from that on, so I eventually left Burger King in 2015, and then I have been working, also working at Burger King, sorry, I'll backtrack a little bit. On top of working with the Board of Health and the cleanliness of the store and all that, I had to make sure that of the hiring process, training people, motivating our team, making sure we were doing the best that we could. Actually, I was so efficient with it that I was the designated manager trainer for the district. The Rockland, Pembroke, Hanover, the 2 Rockland stores, the Kingston branch, all of that. And then in 2015, I am now and still currently working at the Target in Abington there. I work as the Plano Presentation Electronics lead, which the code name for the title is Tune In Tuesday guy, which is basically we design the store, we set up everything, and also my special thing is advertising, making sure that all the new movies that come out, the new books, the new releases for clothing lines, even food, everything, you name it, I'm your guy at Target. I'm Alex from Target, the real Alex from Target. And aside from my work experience, I've also done a lot of volunteering ever since I was a little kid for local, state, and federal politics. I've always been very active in the town, in state and federal, as I've said, making sure we elect the best people to serve us. So now the big question, why am I running? I am running because ever since I was a little kid, ever since I was in elementary school, I was described as the person who was determined, hardworking, and when I set out to achieve a goal, I achieved it. And I know with my experience and my persistence, my passion and my drive, I will make a great asset, a tremendous asset to the Abington Board of Health. And if I am elected on April 28th, one of the things that I want to spearhead on the Board of Health and try to engage with the community is engaging with the community. What that entails is talking to residents, talking to businesses, see what they expect from us, and then we act on that, making sure that we have their best interests at heart. I want the Abington residents to know that with me on the committee, I will be their fighter in the corner for them, making sure that they have the best that they can have, making sure we're working as safe, healthy, and happy as possible. Making sure the Board of Health protects, preserves, and promotes their best interests. One of the things that I would like to do and make sure we do as soon as possible, working with the town to make sure we get a health agent as soon as possible. Abington has not had a health agent since October 2017, and that is one thing that we need to spearhead and make sure we get that as soon as possible. I hope I can count on your vote on April 28th. I am Alex Haggerty, and thank you for all the candidates running here today. Thank you, and I hope I can count on your vote on April 28th.
Thank you, Alex. Next is Selectmen, and we'll start with Mr. Timothy Chapin.
Thank you. First of all, thank you to Emerald Hall for that fantastic breakfast. We do our high school football officials banquet here every year. They're pretty boring banquets, but I always show up for the food. Thank you to the Democratic Town Committee. Thank you for hosting. Thank you for giving us this platform to get our message out to the community. To my beautiful wife, Megan, in the back there, thank you for standing beside me. Not just today, every day for the past 9 years. My children, Mackenzie, Madeline, and Axel, thank you guys. Thank you for pushing me to do more. My name is Tim Chapin. I'm running for one of the 2 open seats on the Board of Selectmen. I was born and raised in Abington. I've lived in Abington for 38 years. When I was young, I was about 7 years old, my younger brother was diagnosed with childhood leukemia. He was the age of 2. So every Friday, my mother had to drive to Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and sit with him while he got his chemotherapy treatments. I may have been too young at the time to fully understand what was happening, but one thing I remember as I get older, not a single Friday went by without a knock on the door. It was somebody from the community. Some we knew, some we didn't, but they were there to bring our family dinner. This showed me at a young age that Abington is a special community. This is just my story. Everybody in this room has a story just like it. The town of Abington sticks together. I've always had an interest in local government. It was something I would always do. I always said, you know, when the kids got older. I came to realize over this past year that's actually a selfish attitude. Actually, now is the time that I can help my community. Now is the time I can most affect my kids' education. Now is the time I can most affect their safety. Now is the time I can instill a sense of community in my children the way it was instilled in me, by giving back. So it dawned on me, now is the time. So I started looking around and asking people how I could help. Watching the Board of Selectmen meeting, they made announcements saying there were all sorts of openings on different boards and committees. So I went online, I filled out the forms, and I waited. Selectmen meetings came and went with the same pleas. Park and Rec needs help. The vacant school building committee can't meet. They don't have enough people. And all the meanwhile, my application sat in this black hole between the residents and Town Hall. We need to close that black hole. I started talking to people, and I got a lot of similar stories from everybody. What they were saying was communication from Town Hall was bare minimum. We need to build a bridge over the black hole. So I thought, let's try something. Let's try a local government that's over-the-top transparent and open to new ideas. Leaders, elected and appointed, who are responsive to input and comments from the community. Let's try to share our thoughts before they're formed and polished, so that ideas can be nurtured and spread. Let's trust that public comments in the virtual town square can be a place of conversation and community. Let's try coming up with new and creative ways to communicate to the residents so they feel empowered and thus active. Let's make our local government something that is for the people and by the people, not something that's done to the people. I'll talk briefly about some other issues. The patrolman's contracts. Our patrolmen in town have gone 4 years without a contract. While I'm convinced that this is going to be settled in the short-term future, we can't be okay with that. We must look into what happened and ensure that no other town department has to go through this again. No tuition, full-day kindergarten. I fully support this. No family should have to take food off the table to give our children the same opportunities they get one town over. But that being said, we must be very careful to implement this with the long-term sustainability in mind. We cannot fund it with free cash now and be forced back to the drawing board in 2 to 3 years and risk taking it away. The police department turnover. We've stuck our heads in the sand way too long on this issue. Over the last 15 years, we've hired, trained, and equipped too many good patrolmen that take their training experience to other communities. Our average patrolman right now has less than 5 years experience. In a job where experience is everything, this is a huge issue. We can't keep turning down and dismissing solutions that are brought before us. This has to stop by any means necessary. The town master plan. The town has done a lot of building over the past 10 to 20 years. I'd like to see a more modest approach in the next master plan. I'd like for us to focus on making the town more aesthetically pleasing. Everything from sidewalks, crosswalks, and streetlights, to more importantly, our playgrounds, parks, and ball fields. We must put the next master plan in the hands of our community, not in the hands of our finance committee. Now, I could sit up here all day and talk about issues, but I won't, because my coffee's getting cold. But if anybody has any issues they want to bring up, feel free to contact me. Check out my Facebook page at Elect Tim Chapin, Abington Selectman. Check out my website, timchapin.com. And you're all invited back to the Knights of Columbus this afternoon between 1 and 4. We're having a little campaign party to talk about some more issues. On April 28th, vote for the candidate that knows the issues. Vote for the candidate that has solutions. On April 28th, I'd be humbled and honored to receive one of your 2 votes for the Board of Selectmen. To the other candidates, Rory, Kevin, and Jim, after the 28th, we're all on the same team. I look forward to working with each of you on these pressing issues. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Tim. Next one on the agenda is Kevin DiMaggio.
So don't mind me, I'm going to pretty much read directly off of this because I'm not good with memorizing stuff. But good morning, my name is Kevin DiMaggio. I'm a candidate running for the Abington Board of Selectmen. I want to first thank you all for taking the time out of your day to come and listen to what we have to offer and our visions for the future of the town. I also want to thank the Democratic Town Committee in the hall for hosting this awesome event. I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about me and my background. I'm 35 years old and I have 2 boys, a 10-year-old and a 6-year-old. I grew up in Braintree. I started my family in Weymouth and then bought a home in Abington 4 years ago. I'm currently a lieutenant at the Plymouth County House of Corrections after starting there 9 years ago as a correction officer. My being both a parent of a child in Abington Public Schools and a homeowner in Abington means I have the same needs and concerns as you. And my professional background has me well positioned for the general issue of safety that seems to be top of mind. The platform that I am running on is simple: accountability, beautification, community first. It is set up to maximize our gains while still being efficient. Each of these areas has its own track, but they are all connected. Improvements made in one area will naturally flow to the next. Accountability. The main thing I have heard from each and every one of you is that we have high taxes and we get minimal services in return. Our police haven't had a contract in over 4 years. It looks like they're going to be coming to an impasse on that. The fire department is running with minimum staffing levels. Our DPW is understaffed in the teens. I will bring accountability by working with these departments to maximize the services that we pay for and are lacking. We pay our taxes, now let's use them wisely and efficiently. Beautification. Driving around town, there are a lot of dead trees on our streets, and our streets are in rough shape. They are dirty, not lit very well, and lack accessibility. We have streets that need more signage and markings on the ground, as well as needing to be repaved. We need to work on these things to visually beautify our town. Let's start by getting the dead limbs and trees removed. I know DPW has made an effort over the past few years, but again, they don't have a bucket truck that goes above 25 feet. So that's tough for them to be able to get trees cut down, to get a call service in. It costs $3,000, $4,000 a day. Let's make it a point, if we remove a tree, we plant one. Let's clean our streets and make sure that that when we repave one, that our utilities are updated before. Let's expand our Adopt an Island program and come up with other ideas to improve our town. We have a beautiful town here. Let's continue beautifying it. Community first. Part of what makes this town great is that it's small and we have great neighborhoods, a new school, library, police station, and town hall. Our playgrounds, on the other hand, are falling apart. Let's repair our playgrounds. Let's add sidewalks to streets when we repave them. Let's work together and invest in our neighborhoods. I also want to bring transparency to our town government. This can be accomplished through social media platforms, access to our officials via email, telephone, or scheduled meeting times outside of Board of Selectmen meetings and other scheduled meetings. Through social media platforms, we can get up-to-date, valuable information out to you, the residents who deserve to know, rather than hearing secondhand. Let's work on making our town more accessible in any way that we can. I am young, I am energetic, and I'm ready to work for you in our town. I have proven leadership through my job and an understanding of how state government works. I did my research before kicking off my campaign by sitting down with all department heads to learn what the current climate is and what they see for the future of their departments. Each one had issues that are hampering them currently and also had foreseeable future issues. The one thing that they did all say is that they spoke highly of their departments for stepping up and getting the job done with barely any funding and a lack of employees. I took the time and initiative to have all those meetings so I could stand here and say with confidence that I know I am the best person for this job. So to answer the main question of why me, it's because I feel my background in security, my current role as a supervisor, and also owning my home, paying my taxes, and raising kids in this town has me ready to be an integral part of the Board of Selectmen. I want to thank you all for your time. You can find me on Facebook at Kevin for Abington. My email is a little bit long, but it's ctekevindimarzio1@gmail.com. Or stop by my campaign event tonight at 23 Orange Street from 6 to 9 p.m. I look forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Next, Rory Manning.
Hello and good morning. My name is Roy Manning and I'm running for Board of Selectmen in Abington. I would like to thank Terry and everyone else in the Abington Board of Democratic Board and Emerald Hall for hosting this event today. Gotta love the bacon, best part of breakfast. My name is Rory and I'm running for candidate for one of the open seats on Board of Selectmen. I grew up in this town and I'd like to continue to give back to this wonderful place. 3 years ago, I was elected to the Park and Rec Commission and I've served as its chair for the past 2 years. I've also served as the Park and Rec Liaison to the Community Preservation Committee, and while on CPC, I've had the privilege to work with appointed members of other boards to allocate CPA funds in accordance with CPA guidelines to fund various projects around town. I have a very strong history of volunteerism in and outside of Abington, and that has contributed to my role on the boards as well as my life. I have a bachelor's degree in marketing and finance from Seton Hall University, and I graduated from Cardinal Spellman High School. I currently work as an account coordinator for Pearson Education, and I support an executive sales team that sells custom technology and textbooks to higher ed services, i.e. I support salespeople that sell stuff and I build it. It's not very complicated. I have a few issues in town that I think are important, and I'd like to speak about them right now. First, I would love to see full-day kindergarten available to the residents of Abington. But, as it said before, I'd like to find a fiscally responsible way to fund it so that way its ongoing continues to grow in this town. I would also like to work with the DPW to make sure the Chapter 90 funds that were appropriated to us are used wisely and correctly. I'd also like to continue to work with the Park and Rec Board to make sure that all the playgrounds in town are once again locations that the neighborhoods and the town can be proud of. Finally, I want to bring a young and fresh perspective to this board. This is a town that's always rallied around its youth, and I want to step up and continue to make a difference. I hope that on April 28th, you'll vote for me for one of the 2 seats on the Board of Selectmen. Thank you.
Thank you, Rory. So there were some candidates that were not able to make it here today, and one of them asked if someone could speak for him. So that would be James Connolly, and Bill Lebanon will be speaking. Oh, no? We changed
Yes.
people? Oh, you're Bill Lebanon?
I am. Yeah, my name is Bill Lebanon, and I'm not running for anything. Believe me, I really applaud everybody who runs for a political office. I know the time that you need to give up. I swear, if I tried to run for anything else than volunteerism, my wife would leave me because I work on so many other things. And those people that know me know that I'm involved in an awful lot. Jim's not able to be here. He's in Florida. I think he's trying to get some of the warm weather that's down there up here into Abington and to help out on his candidacy. He has prepared a statement that I'm going to read to you. Greetings from Florida. I apologize for not being here in person, but this vacation was planned well in advance of my decision to run for selectman. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm an 8-year veteran of the United States Navy Submarine Force. I was a Boston firefighter for 27 years until my early retirement due to an occupational cancer. I was on the Conservation Committee for 15 years until I resigned due to extended recovery time from that cancer. I have been cancer-free now for over 5 years, and last year I was appointed back to the Conservation Committee. I have lived in the town since 1988 and have been married to Joyce since 1993. I have a daughter named Stacy who is married to Dan Baker, who has 4 grandchildren and who have moved to Latrobe, Pennsylvania, where Dan is the pastor of St. Paul's Congregational Church. If I am elected, I would like to see some progress in Union Point. I'd like to keep an eye on the Route 18 widening project. I would like to see if drilling wells within the town would be a feasible addition to our water supply from Silver Lake. I would also like to explore ways of getting businesses to move into town to fill the many empty storefronts in the town. I would also be willing to approve a marijuana dispensary to open in town, filling an empty storefront and collecting 2% local tax, and the state will allow us to charge the marijuana dispensaries. I would also like to see our police get a well-deserved fair contract. I am looking forward to handling any other issues that will come before the Board of Selectmen during my term, and to keep the forward progression of the town of Abington that it has experienced over the past few years. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to contact him at his Facebook page. And thank you, Jim Conley.
Well, thank you, Bill, and now I'll always remember who you are.
And my wife says, no more volunteers.
Okay, so I want to thank everybody for coming and for all the non-candidates for supporting your candidates. Get out there, have some fun. We'll see you on the 28th, and always keep your eye open for other volunteers. There are many positions that are available. We want to fill them all up. And one last thing, on Election Day, because we're at the new school and we haven't voted there yet, there'll be clear signage, but the entrance is going to be near the sports field. There'll be some high schoolers that will be helping direct people to go the right way. The 150-foot marking where you can hold signs in relation to the voting is marked, and maps will be online as well as in the local papers, so look for them. I'm assuming it'll be in the Abington, Mariner, yeah, so everybody get the Mariner. So thank you again, have a great day, try to get some vitamin D.
It was nice hanging with you.
Absolutely, yeah. Good to see you. Always a pleasure, Paul. Take it easy.
Do you need it?
I was going to,
Yeah, I know. I know. I know. Oh, yeah, I know.
We'll see you at some point.